Good morning. I just had a chain of thoughts going through my mind, and I want to talk to you about how important it is to educate yourself, reflect, and how it is interconnected to understand what happens outside of you and to understand what happens inside of you. In other words, when you study something about narcissism or psychopathy to understand what happens around you, you should also learn something about yourself. And if it is only that you have been right and you have been targeted because of your qualities. So I give you an example. I recently, for some reason, randomly started to educate myself and share information about the psychological concept of external and internal locus of control, which means in your self-concept, in your concept of the world, you understand the world based on the assumption that you're in control or you're not in control, okay? And then somebody asked a question, which means I start to educate myself first, then I communicate about it, then somebody reacts to that, asks me a question, I answer the question, and through that I get a whole revelation and I explain how this worked. So I speak about internal and external locus of control. A person asks me, can victims of narcissistic psychopathic abuse remain in a state of having the feeling that they have an external locus of control, means they are controlled by the outside, they have no power over their life? Can this remain even after the abuse, when they go no contact and they don't even realize it? And I said, of course, this is possible, and I gave an explanation. But through that, I made a connection to coercive control, because then I realized, oh, of course, coercive control is aimed at exactly get this impression into you to teach you that you have no control over your life. So coercive control is aimed to make you into a victim that thinks they have no control over their life, okay? So I understood this, and then I make the next step and I linked this coercive control. Where is it coming from? It comes from narcissist, covert narcissist, and psychopath in alliance. And the reason for it is I realized the covert narcissist is having an external locus of control. The covert narcissist is a complete victim and makes everyone else responsible for everything in their life. Therefore, they feel impotent. Therefore, they need to use coercive control via the psychopath, so they might play the game of bad cop, good cop, right? So, and I don't want to go into this, but so I made this whole connection from speaking about the topic external, internal locus of control to, okay, this is linked to coercive control. And the coercive control is a necessity of the covert narcissist that feels this way to make you feel the same way through coercive control. And by this I felt the fact that the covert narcissist feels impotent and has to project this feeling on other people that they maliciously envy. All of that just by me getting a question that stimulates me to think about these topics deeper, reflect on them and connect them to other things, learning both about my world outside of me and about myself, So it shows me I was, I could make assumptions like, okay, I was targeted because I embody that what they can't stand. They can stand that there is a person that has all the qualities they don't have, and then through coercive control, they want to make this person feel like they feel. Of course, this is also most likely connected to the fantasy that a person can be replaced and then they get all the same friends, the same environment, the same blessings as this person. We know this is a malignant fantasy that does not work out. So they spiral and they circle in the same trauma repetition compulsions. But yeah, all of this just coming from a reflection about one simple topic. This is the interesting part, to connect things and expand on them based on communication and feedback. Thank you.